Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist. In 2011, in a quiet part of rural Quebec, a group of men pulled off one of the most Canadian crimes in history. And it was so bizarre, so perfectly polite, and so unbelievably profitable, that when the truth came out, people genuinely thought it was satire. But it wasn't. This was real. This is the story of the Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist. And it is way more intense than it has any right to be. Part 1, the warehouse. Every year, Quebec produces about 70% of the world's maple syrup. For real. 7-0. And because maple syrup is such a big deal in Canada, like liquid gold level's big deal, the government-backed producers created something called the Strategic Maple Syrup Reserve. Yes, a strategic syrup reserve, like oil but sweeter. In 2011, the reserve rented a large unassuming warehouse in a place called St. Louis de Blanford. They filled it with thousands of 55-gallon barrels of maple syrup, uncut, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. No guards, no cameras, just sticky trust. Here's where it gets weird. Sometime that year, a group of men rented space in that same warehouse complex, and slowly, quietly, they began siphoning syrup out of the official barrels and replacing it with water. They didn't just steal syrup, they laundered it. They diluted it, rebarreled it, and sold it on the black market. Because yes, that's a thing. There's a whole underworld of illegal maple syrup deals. Some people sell drugs. These guys sold Pancake's best friend. Part 2, liquid gold. They pulled this off for over a year, a full year. By the time anyone noticed, the thieves had siphoned out 10 million barrels. That's 3,000 tons of maple syrup, worth over $18 million. This wasn't some slapstick Canadian joke. This was the largest theft in Quebec history, and one of the biggest thefts of a consumable product ever recorded. When the reserve employees finally went to inspect the barrels, they noticed something strange. One of them tried to climb a stack and nearly fell, because the barrel he grabbed was supposed to weigh 600 pounds. But it was empty. They started checking others. Some were filled with water, some were bone dry. Some still had syrup, but not the right syrup. Different grade, different viscosity. It was like someone had replaced fine wine with Kool-Aid and hoped no one would notice. Part 3, the sticky sting. Quebec police launched an enormous investigation, and the media exploded. People started calling it the Great Maple Syrup Heist. Late night shows had a field day. But the thing is, it was hard to trace. Syrup doesn't have serial numbers. You can't just scan it and say, "Yep, this one's stolen." Eventually, police narrowed it down to 17 people, including the warehouse renters and some inside men. One guy had stored barrels on his cousin's farm. Another had literally rolled syrup barrels down rural roads at night to avoid being seen. When it all came crashing down, the ringleader, a man named Richard Valieres, was arrested, charged, and sentenced to 8 years in prison and a $9 million fine. When asked why he did it, he just said he didn't think anyone would notice. 18 million gone in syrup, and he thought no one would check the barrels. So the next time you're pouring maple syrup on your waffles, just remember, somewhere out there, there's an entire underworld built around smuggling the stuff, a cartel of tree nectar. And for one very sticky year, Canada's most wanted criminals weren't bank robbers or mob bosses. They were syrup pirates.